We're very excited to introduce a brand new feature of the Forex Smart Tools Trade Log Pro version. It's the Progress Tracker, which will help you monitor your goals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Here we are looking at the trade log, and we have a new tab called Progress Tracker. When you first come to it, you'll find that it has a number of presets for this week, last week, this month, last month, this quarter, last quarter, this year, last year. And this assumes that it's taking all of your active live accounts and grouping them into one group that shows you the results of all of them together. Of course, if you only have one broker, that makes it easy, but you may want to view each broker or each strategy independently. In that case, begin by creating your own preset. So we'll come over and click the New button, and we can choose any name that we'd like to give it. We can pick whether we want to group our trades by days, weeks, months, or years. This will make more sense in a moment. I'm going to choose days. I'm going to choose a custom time period, and I'm going to pick the broker that I want to look at. If I've set up groups, which I can do on the summary page of the trade log, then my various groups are also going to be listed for me here. As soon as I click Save, I see a list from that date range. Now, the powerful thing about the Progress Tracker is that you can set your own colors to quickly identify how you're doing each day. You do this by going to Settings, Progress Tracker, and the dialog that pops up has two tabs on it, Goals and Columns. So let's begin by setting goals. And we at Forex Smart Tools suggest that you establish levels of goals. And we talk a lot about goals in our money management videos as well. So let me begin by adding a modest goal. I'm going to make that like a light green. I'm going to put this for a positive value. Anything that's over 2% per day is going to register as this light green color. I'm going to say if I can do 0.5% a day, I'm going to consider myself in very good shape. I'm going to make it a little bit stronger green, and I can use this to intensify that color green. So here I establish a 1% daily goal, and I'm going to make that a stronger green. And of course, you're going to be establishing values for yourself based on how you feel comfortable trading. I'm going to put in a very strong 3% green. Now you'll notice also I haven't used the names here, but let's talk about those. So let's say that personally for me, my daily goal is 2%. So I can click on that 2%, and now I can give it a name. And I can be as descriptive with these names as I like. So I've given all of my different levels different names that correlate with how my trading goes. Now let me just close this, and you can see how these relate here. So immediately all of my rows are colored based on the levels that I myself have set. So I have a few days that are over 3% that are in my darkest green, some are in the lighter green, and the ones that I've set up as my base goal are in my standard green. But what about the losses? Well, I also want to establish for myself what my tolerance of a loss is. So I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to say, if I've taken a loss, apply to values equal to or below. If I've taken like a 0.5 loss, I'm going to say that's okay. So I'm establishing my first loss level. And so on. I'm going to keep filling these in. So here I've established a number of different levels. Of course, you can customize this to your own style of trading. You might just want it simple, give me one green if I profit and one red if I've taken a loss, or you might just want 4 levels, or you might want 20 levels. Be as creative as you want to be for yourself. You'll see that all of our different daily equity changes correlate to the different colors that we've set up. Now we can understand how the column tab works in this. You can see that we have change, which is the equity change for that day, and net shown as the columns that we want to have colored. You may decide to just show your equity changes colored, or you may want to see the entire row in that color. That would look like this. So you can see at a glance what you did. This is a great thing because it lets us see, regardless of how many trades we take a day or a week, how we're doing on an ongoing basis. And this is something that you cannot get by simply looking at the bottom line of your broker statement, because you might be seeing a positive number on your broker statement and think, oh, I'm doing great, but really if you went into it, you might have had one day that you pulled out a huge, great winning trade, but in general, on a daily basis, your trading is really not very robust or reliable. That would look like a bunch of red losses here with 1 or 2 green ones. On the other hand, you might be seeing a negative amount in your broker statement relative to where you started, and you might just simply draw the conclusion, oh, I'm not doing very well in my trading. But then if you look at this progress tracker, you can visually see at a glance, well, maybe in general I really am doing quite well. There's a lot of days where I'm very positive, and there's just been a few days where I took an overly large loss. So if I can just refine that, then in general I'm doing well. I point out those two extremes just to drive home the point that a trade log really gets you a much more profound understanding of the general trend of your trading and your strengths and weaknesses than simply looking at the bottom line of how your broker statement shows your equity to be. The next thing to notice about how the progress tracker works is that you can create notes. So I'm going to click that. So I've made notes to myself about what these 2 trades are. Now this will let me see at a glance what's going on with the trades I took there. If I click on that row, it opens up the analysis page and it shows me the 2 individual trades that I took that day. And naturally I can go in and look at the particulars of that trade, and I would have put in my screenshots and my notes and strategy and all the particulars about it. So when I'm in the progress tracker, I'm not looking for a detailed story about each individual trade. I'm just looking for like a summary. I might have 4 trades in a particular day like I did here on this Friday. And I just want to see at a glance what was going on that I took 4 trades, had 2 wins, 2 losses, and ended up with almost a 5% loss. So I would put in my little summary of that day by clicking and making that note. So there's the note that I made for that day. Now I can see at a glance an overall picture of what was going on. Now you'll notice when you roll over these that you get an underlined, meaning it's a link. All you have to do is click it and you're able to go in and edit this note to yourself. So when we get all of our notes filled in, you can begin to see how powerful this is to be able to get a reading of your trading overall at a glance like this. And the trade log is automatically doing these calculations for you, figuring out how many trades you took each day, how many were wins, how many were losses, and most importantly, what the overall change to your equity is, and the net value in dollars. Now remember, we set this up initially to show our progress on a day-by-day basis. As time goes on and you get more and more trades, you might want to step back and look at how your trading is going on a weekly basis. We can easily do that with the Progress Tracker too. I'm going to set up a new preset, and you'll see here that it's basically the same as I created it before, but now I'm grouping my trades by weeks. When I click Save, it recalculates and shows me week by week, in the time that I chose or the time that I had this account open, how many trades I took each week, what my win to loss percent is, what my overall equity change is per week, and the net dollar value. Now the great thing about this is that you may have certain levels that you pick for your daily goals, but you might have different levels that you set for your weekly goals. For instance, I might say that I ideally would like to be trading at 1% a day, but that I'm realistic and say, you know, maybe I can't trade every day, maybe the market's not right to even put on any trades, maybe I take a loss or two in a week. I'm going to be very happy if I'm making 3% a week. So your weekly goals are different than your daily goals. Notice when you've opened up the Progress Tracker setting dialog, your Goals tab is subdivided into daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals. So I want to establish my own weekly goals, which I'll do now. So here are my weekly goals. You can see I have one slight difference because I differentiated between a 5% gain and an 8% gain. So this being more than 8%, 9.3, registered as a stronger green color. But you get the idea. And again, remember, if I only want to see my equity as the colored column, I would just choose only change. And it highlights exactly that. As time goes on and you accumulate more trades in this, you can back off and look at the month, or look at the week, or look at the entire year, year after year, and see how your trading is going. And just for illustration, here I've set up a third preset for monthly tracking. So again, I've clicked Goals, Monthly Goals, and I've set up some levels for what my monthly targets would be. I closed this and my months are colored in accordingly. These are colored based on the settings that I've set up. If I want to go back and look at my daily, these presets, these reports are saved for you in the preset drop-down window. So all I have to do is click that. Now, two more notes on this. The Progress Tracker does allow you to display an equity curve. Click the little graph icon here on the upper right, and a graph will be displayed showing that same time period for that same broker or group of brokers that you've set up in your Progress Tracker, showing you what the overall equity curve looks like for that time period. And the other option you have is to click the icon, and that will allow you to export your data to an Excel spreadsheet. And one more fun thing to note, the tabs in the trade log are now movable. So if this is something you want to see right away at the first, just take it and drag it into the position that you want it to be. All of the tabs now you can put exactly where you want them. So keeping goals is very important in your Forex trading and will really advance your skill and speed in becoming a professional trader. So we wish you well and enjoy your trade log.